Coming up on today's Indonesia, 12 Indonesians arrested in Turkey have been repatriated. President Widodo seeks funding from China to help develop infrastructure back home. And the philosophy of coffee, a new movie that tells how coffee can touch your life. Selamat berjumpa lagi. Welcome to today's Indonesia. I am Luisa Kusnandar. 12 of the 16 Indonesians detained by Turkish authorities for trying to illegally cross into Syria have returned home. They arrived at the Soekarno-Hatta International Airport on Thursday night and were taken immediately to the police headquarters in Depok, West Java for further investigation. 8 of the group have been identified as one family. The group also includes a couple and 2 unrelated people. Another 16 Indonesians went missing in Turkey shortly after they landed in Istanbul with a tour group. Authorities believe they were trying to go to Syria to join ISIS. Their whereabouts remain unknown. Executions of death row inmates may loom near as the Supreme Court has rejected an appeal by Filipino Mary Veloso. The court's decision on Wednesday helped pave the way for the Attorney General's office to carry out a second batch of executions. The legal process of other convicts is still going on, including the review on petitions filed by French national Serge Adlaoui and Ghana national Martin Anderson. Meanwhile, Australians Andrew Chan and Muran Sukumaran currently have appeals that are working their way through the courts. There are 11 convicts who are set to be executed on the prison island near Cilacap, Central Java. The execution's date will be announced as soon as all legal process is clear. As of April 16th, you won't be able to buy a Bintang or Corona from your nearest mini-marts. That's because the government is banning the sale of beer and other low alcohol content beverages from convenience stores. It's being done for, quote, the protection of morals and culture in society. But some retailers and many customers say you can't legislate morality. The strongest criticism of the regulation has come from Bali, the country's most popular tourist destination. Indonesia has 23,000 mini markets, some of which are close to schools and residential areas. The business has been booming in the past 10 years, growing at an average of 15% annually. Now we get perspective from our viewpoint analyst Ulil Afshar Abdallah is here. He's a political analyst from the Freedom Institute. Ulil, first of all, tell us, what do you think?
First of all, Luisa, I'm in a disagreement with this rule, these regulations. I'm against it. I think it's going too far. I think a sound regulation would be that we limit the consumption of liquor or alcohol to certain people that fulfill certain criteria. For example, people who are 21 years old and beyond.
But I thought we are doing that now, don't we?
Yes, of course. But I think to ban the sale of alcohol in convenience store altogether, and this law apply to all cities and places in Indonesia, is unfair. It's unfair. It will damage the tourism. It will damage also the perception of Indonesia being, lured into radical Islamist ideology. This is not true. This is wrong for me. I think the Ministry of Trade has gone too far.
Too far.
I think it's gone too far. Stop it. Don't do it. This is wrong for me.
Well, the government's argument here is actually to protect the kids. Well, they're saying that by banning all this alcohol, there will be no exposure.
Let's say that the reason is to protect culture and morality. What culture do you mean? Because, do you think that in our culture there is no consumption of alcohol or whatsoever?
Well,
no, it's wrong.
Hang on a second.
In Javanese culture, in Priayas element of our society, in Priayas, strata of society, of Javanese society, the consumption of what is called chiu. This is the local name for the alcohol, for Javanese local name for wine. Is very widespread.
That's a good point you have there. Yes. No.
What do you say? This is against our culture. What culture do you mean?
Well, at the moment though, is there any undercurrent religious law for this?
Okay, of course, I'm Muslim, and I know that in Islam, the consumption of intoxicating substances is prohibited. Yes, I'm a Muslim, I believe in this, but it doesn't mean that it allows the government to intervene in this kind of thing. I mean, I cannot accept the government to regulate what people can eat, drink, or not. This is up to people what they drink and eat. This is too far. This is like you know, like a totalitarian state, regulating everything people dress, people drink, people eat. I mean, this is not true. This is not true. And I think what is more is that this kind of regulation will send a wrong signal to the outside world that Indonesia become more conservative religiously.
That's true.
This is wrong. I mean, Indonesia is a country with the majority of the Muslim, but we are tolerant people. Okay, if you want to drink, it's okay. As long as you don't harm me and don't harm the society, and you fulfill the certain criteria. If you are 21 years old, it's okay. You can drink alcohol, but on your own risk. And if you transgress or you violate religious regulation that you believe in, that's your own responsibility.
Right.
Don't get the government into the business. That's wrong, totally wrong, and I'm against it.
So what can you say? What can the government do then if they really want to protect the kids from being overexposed to alcohol?
Okay, that's the responsibility of many sides. The government has the responsibility to protect our kids from consuming the alcohol. Of course, that's why we have a regulation that people below 21 years old cannot buy the alcohol.
And unfortunately, that's not really working because
it doesn't work here. But that doesn't mean that the rule is wrong.
Yes.
The question is about the enforcement and the awareness of the people, of the vendors, to implement the rule. The problem is that our culture is so permissive. I mean, to be honest, yeah. If some people, for example, buy beer or alcohol in the convenience store, they don't need to show their identity card. This is what I'm experiencing in America, for example. In the U.S., when people want to buy liquor, they have to show the ID card. Here, people, I mean, 15 years old, the SMP kid, you know, the junior high school student, they can buy liquors without showing any ID card. And I know that this caused some upset and resentment among some religious people. Okay, so stop it altogether. But this is all a wrong reaction.
Exactly.
And the government cannot go too far as to succumb to this kind of pressure.
Yes.
This is wrong.
No, yeah, I mean, I get it. Especially, it's not just junior high schoolers with alcohol, but also with smoking.
Smoking as well. It's too bad that smoking is so rampant and widespread even among the junior high school kid in our midst. That's a sorry situation.
I know, right? But definitely, if this do happen, I just cannot imagine how this will affect badly on the tourism, especially in Bali.
Exactly. I mean, Bali, you know, it's a big tourism, and with this regulation, you will harm the whole business.
Yeah. Well, I can see you have a really strong opinion on this, Ulil Abshar Abdallah. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your thoughts with us today. We go to our next story here. National Police have officially issued a decree allowing female officers to wear the Islamic headscarf or hijab with their uniforms. The decree was issued on Wednesday and stipulates that those who wish to wear the hijab must use a plain one with no emblems. The police force would use 600 million rupiah or around $46,000 from its annual budget to provide each policewoman who requests the headscarves. The decision received acclaim from the policewomen and the public. In 2005, the ban on policewomen wearing the hijab was introduced with a decree ordering all officers to wear only official police attire. Now let's take a first look at the weather. Standing by at the weather monitor is Ashifa Latif. Ashifa, a quick look at the weekend's forecast.
Yes, Louisa, it's still going to be a wet day here in the capital. Expect a cloudy day with a few showers. The high will reach 32 degrees Celsius, while nighttime temperatures will cool down to 24. And that's a quick look at the first weather. I'll be back with a complete forecast later on. Luisa.
Thank you, Ashifa. Stay with us. Today's Indonesia will be back just shortly, coming up how the new funding scheme will help Indonesia improve its infrastructure.